Hello and welcome back. In this video we're going to be talking about medicines in nature. So in the last video we talked about how scientists go about finding molecules that could potentially be used as medicines. Thankfully, they've already had a bit of a helping hand from nature. Nature's pretty amazing. It has had millions of years to figure out solutions to problems that we're only just finding out about. In fact, over half of all human medicines used today have been sourced from nature. This includes 1/3 of all cancer drugs. For example, aspirin comes from willow, a tree, and penicillin was discovered in mold. But it's not just plants and funguses that we find medicines in. We also get some from animals. For example, zirconionide, a painkiller, is extracted from the venom of the cone snail. To be able to use these molecules that we can find in nature, we need to be able to separate them from all of the other molecules in the plant or animals. One technique for doing this is chromatography. Today we're going to be learning about chromatography. In the lab, when scientists do chromatography, they use big machines, but it's quite a simple technique that we can replicate with some items you can probably find around the house. So today we'll be doing the chromatography of spinach using the thin-layer chromatography technique. So to do thin-layer chromatography, we need a solid stationary phase and a liquid solvent. For this experiment, my stationary phase is going to be aluminium coated in a thin layer of silica gel. Silica gel is the same thing you might find in a shoebox when you buy new shoes. But if you're doing this at home, you could just use a coffee filter instead. For my solvent, I will be using the Swansea University hand sanitizer that's made of 80% ethanol. I'm going to get 2 or 3 leaves of spinach, and I'm going to need a mortar and pestle. I'm going to cut my spinach into small chunks and put them in my mortar. I'm then going to add a small amount of nail polish remover. You only need about 5 milliliters maximum, but you don't need to measure. And I'm going to take my pestle and grind my spinach. This will help to extract all of the pigment from the spinach leaves. And as you're doing this, you will see a dark green liquid forming at the bottom of the mortar. Once you have plenty of the dark green liquid, you are ready to set up your stationary phase. To do this, you're going to take one of the silica gel plates, and I've already cut one in half to fit in my beaker. Then with a ruler and a pencil, you're going to draw a line at the bottom of your plate. Next, I'm going to take a spot of the pigment and put it onto my plate as well. To do this, I'll be using a capillary tube, but you could also use a paintbrush or a cocktail stick. Just going to dip the end of the tube into the liquid and dot it on the bottom of the plate. Now, you might need to leave it dry and do this 2 or 3 times to get a nice dark dot at the bottom. Whilst the dot is drying on the plate, it's time to set up your solvent. So you're going to want to add a little bit of the solvent to the bottom of a beaker. Again, you don't need very much. Then take a lollipop stick and fold the top of your plate over it and balance it in the beaker. So the bottom is touching the liquid, your solvent, but the solvent isn't touching your dot of pigment. Now you're going to wait about 15 minutes and you will see the solvent moving up the plate, and as it goes, it will carry the pigment with it and separate it out. Okay, so it's been about 15-20 minutes and we're ready to take my chromatogram out of its solvent. So you can see by looking at this, it has separated into 3 different pigments. We have a yellow at the bottom, a green in the middle, and a different yellow at the top. Now, if I wanted to use one of these as a medicine, my next steps would be to identify these and then find a way to synthesize it in a lab and make lots of it. Today we've learned a little bit about how we get medicines from nature. Thank you for watching. See you again soon. Bye now.